In the year 1991, Detective Matthew Scudder is sitting in a car with his partner, perhaps winding down after a long shift. After a while, he heads into a nearby bar, orders 2 shots of alcohol and a cup of coffee. Clearly revealing his struggle with alcohol at the time. Moments later, the atmosphere turns violent when 2 masked men storm into the bar, attempting to rob it. The bartender, refusing to give them any money, is shot in the chest, and this prompts Matt to spring into action. He quickly pulls out his firearm and begins shooting at the assailants. One of the gunmen is hit and goes down, while the other 2 escape, one driving a getaway car. Matt runs outside into the street, fires again, and hits the driver, causing the vehicle to crash. The last man tries to flee on foot, but Matt continues chasing him down some steps. Shoots him in the leg to stop him, and ultimately kills him. This violent episode marks a significant turning point in Matt's life. 8 years later, Matt is no longer a detective and has now become a recovering alcoholic, trying to maintain a quiet and more controlled life. While sitting in a modest diner ready to enjoy a peaceful meal, a young drug addict named Peter approaches him nervously. Peter pleads with Matt to help his older brother, Kenny.
It's my brother, He needs your help. What kind of help?
Although Matt appears uninterested at first and hesitant to get involved, something about Peter's urgency convinces him to follow the young man. They travel to Kenny Christo's home, where Matt learns more about the situation. Kenny, aware of Matt's former experience as both a detective and private investigator, offers him a sum of $20,000 to track down the men responsible for kidnapping and killing his wife. Kenny explains that despite paying the ransom the criminals demand, they murder her anyway.
She's dead. I paid them, but they killed her anyway.
However, Matt quickly realizes that Kenny is involved in drug trafficking and refuses to take the case, not wanting to be connected to criminal enterprises. Later, when Matt returns to his apartment, he finds Kenny waiting for him outside, sitting in silence. Kenny tells Matt his wife's name is Carrie and insists with emotional sincerity that he truly loves her. He wants Matt to understand that she is not just collateral damage in a criminal life.
You to think that I'm cruel or don't care.
A flashback sequence reveals the horrifying moment when Kenny receives a call from the kidnappers demanding a ransom. They initially ask for $500,000, but Kenny attempts to negotiate, trying to offer $400,000. In response, the main kidnapper raises the amount to $1 million and makes a chilling threat to cut off one of Carrie's breasts and send it to him to prove they are serious. Terrified, Kenny complies and delivers the money to the location they specify. He is told to wait in his car and that Carrie will be released and returned to him, but she never comes. Instead, he receives instructions to check the trunk of an old car parked in a remote part of Red Hook. When Kenny opens the trunk, he is horrified to find several plastic bags drenched in blood, each one containing dismembered pieces of Carrie's body. Devastated, he later gives Matt a tape recorder that is found in the trunk. After Kenny leaves, Matt listens to the recording in private. The audio contains the disturbing sounds of Carrie being tortured and screaming in agony, solidifying the gruesome truth of her fate. Deeply shaken and now emotionally invested, Matt decides to take on the case and seek justice. He begins his investigation in Red Hook, asking around the neighborhood for any information or leads.
Pulled out after Mrs. Christo, cut off the caddy. It was light blue, it was definitely light blue.
From what he gathers, the kidnappers may have connections to the DEA. Several residents say they see a van in the area around the time Carrie is taken, but no one seems to agree on the name written on it, suggesting that the criminals have been repainting the van regularly to stay hidden. Matt then visits the public library to look up news reports about other similar crimes. While researching, a sharp and curious young homeless boy named TJ approaches him. Matt invites TJ to help him with his research.
Matt.
Short for Matthew.
Together, they find disturbing articles about other victims, one named Marie Godeskind and another named Layla Anderson. In one case, a florist finds a severed leg in a dumpster. In another, multiple plastic bags containing human remains are discovered floating in a cemetery pond. Matt starts to bond with TJ and later takes him out for pancakes at the diner, forming a mentor-like relationship. Continuing the investigation, Matt goes to the cemetery to meet the groundskeeper, Jonas Lugan. Jonas appears emotionally fragile and admits that he finds the bags containing the woman's body.
This was a helmet. It was a loan, which, if you know anything at all about helmets, is quite unusual.
But has tried to block out the traumatic memory. He becomes upset when Matt brings up the event. Later, TJ secretly follows Matt as he makes his way to an apartment building to dig deeper into Layla's disappearance. Matt leaves TJ outside and visits Layla's fiancé, Ruben. He questions Ruben about the last time he sees Layla. Ruben says he is supposed to meet her at a cafe, but instead, he witnesses her being forced into a van by two men and a third accomplice.
She used to meet me there sometimes. When I see two guys jump out of the van and grab her.
Matt suspects that Ruben may also be involved in the drug scene. Looking out of the apartment window, Matt spots a cage filled with birds sitting on the rooftop of the building across the street. He becomes curious and heads over there. On the rooftop, he discovers a hidden shed. Inside, Matt finds a page from an unfinished manuscript, along with disturbing photographs of Ruben and Layla being intimate. The shed, he learns, belongs to Jonas, the cemetery groundskeeper. Jonas soon finds Matt inside the shed and pulls a knife, clearly agitated and defensive. However, Matt calmly speaks to him, eventually convincing him to lower the weapon. Feeling pressured, Jonas breaks down and confesses his involvement in Layla's abduction.
Never laid a hand on Layla. The other two, they're the ones you better worry about.
He reveals that he is the getaway driver for the two men, and admits he conspires with them. His twisted reasoning is that he doesn't like seeing Layla doing drugs with Ruben, so he thinks that taking her away from that life is somehow protecting her. Jonas is forced to drive to a remote location where he witnesses something truly horrifying. The main kidnapper brutally cuts open a woman's blouse and, in a twisted and sadistic tone, asks her which breast she prefers, saying he will cut off the other one. Deeply shocked and unable to cope with the terrifying scene, Jonas runs away, completely traumatized. Later, when Matt questions Jonas about the attacker's whereabouts, Jonas calmly feeds his birds and gives Matt a single name, Ray. Then, without warning, Jonas jumps off the rooftop and falls to his death, landing on a car. Meanwhile, the story moves to the two kidnappers, Ray and Albert, inside their house. They appear composed as they plan their next steps. During a casual drive, they pass the home of a drug dealer named Yuri Landau and spot his beautiful 14-year-old daughter, Ludmila, also called Lucia, walking her dog. She smiles and waves at them innocently, not knowing the danger they pose. Ray is immediately captivated by her youth and charm. Elsewhere, Matt visits a small store and asks the owner about a woman named Marie Godeskind. His search leads him to an apartment where the occupants, a man and his son, attack him without hesitation. They claim they've been falsely accused of Marie's murder several times already. They then reveal something unexpected. Marie is actually a police officer who is also involved in drug trafficking with them. The next day, Matt notices a man tailing him, stepping out of a van marked East Village Plumbing Supply, a label similar to the kidnapper's vehicle. Matt confronts the man, only to discover he is a DEA agent. The agent and his team pick Matt up in a van, but offer no real answers when he asks about Marie. Eventually, they let him go. Later, Matt visits Peter's apartment, where he finds Peter on the verge of injecting himself with drugs. The walls are covered with nude paintings of Carrie, revealing Peter's deep love and obsession with her. Matt tells Peter to pass a message to Kenny. He's returning the money and stepping away from the case. At the same time, in the pouring rain, Matt's young friend TJ is attacked and badly beaten by two thugs. Matt finds him recovering in Bellevue Hospital. When TJ regains consciousness, he asks Matt why he left the police force. Matt opens up, explaining that during a past shootout, one of his bullets accidentally hits a 7-year-old girl in the eye, killing her instantly. This tragic mistake still haunts him and is the main reason he quits being a cop. Meanwhile, Ray and Albert break into the Landau house. They knock out the family dog with a taser and then use it on Lucia, kidnapping her while she's caring for her sick mother. Peter quickly finds Matt and brings him to the Landau home. The kidnappers call and demand a ransom for Lucia's release. Yuri answers and tries to reason with them, but Matt grabs the phone and warns Ray that they won't get a single dollar if the girl is harmed. To show proof that Lucia is alive and relatively unharmed, Ray provides reassurance, and a ransom drop is arranged. Matt calls TJ using a phone he has left him and asks him to go to his apartment, retrieve a specific box, and deliver it to Peter. TJ and Peter bring the box to the Landau residence. Then, Matt, Kenny, Peter, Yuri, and TJ all head to a cemetery where the exchange is set to happen. Peter hides behind a row of tombstones with a rifle in hand. When the exchange begins, Lucia is returned to her father, though her hands are bloody. Ray coldly remarks that her injuries occur before any rules are discussed. Albert takes the ransom money but quickly discovers it is counterfeit. He tries to alert Ray, but Matt reacts first. He shoots Ray twice in the chest. Fortunately for Ray, he is wearing a bulletproof vest. In the chaos, Albert fires his weapon and hits Peter, while Matt manages to shoot Ray again, this time wounding him in the side. The two kidnappers flee the scene in their van. As Matt and Kenny desperately try to help a dying Peter, they realize TJ is missing. It turns out TJ has bravely snuck into the back of the kidnappers' van and secretly follows them to their hideout. Once he figures out the street address, he contacts Matt and gives him the location. Inside the kidnapper's house, Ray begs Albert to treat his gunshot wound, but Albert ignores him. Instead, they both go down to the basement, where Albert suddenly strangles Ray to death with a garrote. Afterwards, Albert casually goes back upstairs to eat, as if nothing happens. Soon after, Matt, Kenny, and TJ arrive. Matt handcuffs Albert to a pipe and leaves him in Kenny's custody, while he sends TJ back home in a taxi. Kenny, trying to investigate, hits Albert over the head with a bottle and goes downstairs in search of Ray. However, Albert manages to free himself. Matt, haunted by the past and reminded of the 12 steps from an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, decides to go back inside to finish things. He finds Kenny lying dead in the basement. Albert suddenly attacks Matt, and a fierce fight breaks out between them. After struggling for a while, Matt finally gains the upper hand and shoots Albert in the head, killing him. Exhausted and emotionally drained, Matt returns home. He finds TJ peacefully sleeping on the couch. Nearby, he notices a drawing that TJ makes, a picture of himself as a superhero, full of hope and imagination. Matt then quietly sits down, reflecting on all that has happened, and slowly closes his eyes.